What's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.S.R. Gonzo'S Sports Rooms. Oh, excuse me. Monday, March 6, 2023. Been a crazy weekend in sports. Had a lot going on. Derek Carr gets signed today by the Saints. Geno Smith gets an extension with the Seahawks. John Morant is definitely away from the Memphis Grizzlies after deciding it was a good idea to flash a gun on live Instagram in a strip club on Saturday night. How do you not even crosses your mind? That's a good idea. I really don't know. But I'm Chris Gonzo'S. He's Tony Gonzo'S. And we're joined by Jay McLovin. How's it going, Jay?
For me personally, it's going well. It's going extremely well. For John Morant, John Morant's gonna be okay, man. Look, as long as he don't actually pull the trigger and all he does is show it, he'll probably just get misdemeanor after misdemeanor until somebody just says, okay, I've had enough. However, in a comma, you would think a lot of people have made the mistake. They've gone on Instagram, they've gone on TikTok, they've gone on Facebook, they've gone on millions of different places, and these athletes have brandished guns before. It never works out well for any of them. So somebody in John Morant's corner really should advise him, Ja, let's do some practices that don't or hasn't been done before. Okay, because right now the current trajectory we're going, not too good. Not too good. Unless you work for the NRA. And in that case, I guess, hey, it is what it is.
Oh, man. Was you going to say something about John?
No, I had something to say, but I figured it wouldn't go well.
Okay.
Hey, look, it can't possibly go any worse, honestly. If you're John Morant, how much worse can it possibly go? I mean, like I said, outside of pulling the trigger, how much worse can it possibly go?
See, that's where I was going. So it's better to keep my mouth shut.
Good evening, Billy. Thanks for joining us. How's it going, Dustin? He says, "Happy World Baseball Classic Eve, everyone."
It starts.
That's right. It is that we are on the eve of the World Baseball Classic. And I don't know if y'all been noticing, but some of these players have been dropping like flies coming out of the classics with injuries and stiff. I think Vladimir Guerrero, if I'm not mistaken, he was the latest one to bow out of the classic and go back to spring training. So,
hey, what happened to your Astros yesterday, man?
What happened to them?
I watched it today.
Or, it might have been earlier today, but Cardinals beat them 7-1 or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
What's up? What's up with the
It's spring freaking training. This is the undertone we're taking. Let's be honest.
I was looking for some.
I just had to get you going.
I'm just saying, look, I'm okay. Look, I can appreciate spring training. It's the only time the Reds are actually viable.
They ain't viable then. I was just looking for something to watch and clicking, and there's the Astros. And so I said, "What the heck? I watch it."
Let me tell you something. 7-1. We're trying to figure out who's going to play, who's not going to play.
Yeah,
who's going to work out. Who's not. I'll tell you who should be worried. And unfortunately, he's not on this show right now. I'd blast him on it. It's Frankie. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the newest acquisition that he was so ecstatic about in Rondon to that rotation so far has turned out to be nothing more than another Frankie Montas. I don't know if you checked it out against and it was beautiful against Logan's Braves. But the man gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, 2 innings with an ERA above 22. I loved every last damn minute of it. I couldn't get enough of it. I literally thought about streaking to the quad butt naked, but then I realized probably not a good idea. I realized if John gets a misdemeanor for flashing the gun on TikTok, what am I going to do? Running down the middle of Oglethorpe Avenue, right next to the police station, naked. Probably not going to go over well.
Jay and his boy Blue are going to be streaking to the quad.
My boy Blue.
Blue's in bed right now. He's tired. He done had a couple of shots of Jack, and he called it a night. He's such a lightweight at 121 pounds. Rollins. I don't know. I call it the Tony Gonzalez effect. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you up to date real quick. I know you didn't watch it, and I know you taped it, but you still won't watch it. I'm gonna bring you up to date on Monday Night Raw real quick.
It's funny you say that. You know me so well. Literally, it is taped, and literally, I have not watched it yet.
No, it just stopped. It just ended.
Oh shit!
What happened?
Him squealing.
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice that in your ears?
No.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, it just ended. But they're keeping the story going, and of course Jay Uso hadn't been around, and they didn't know what he was going to do. Well, he shows up tonight, and Sammy pinned Jimmy Uso. They had a match, and he pinned him to end the show. As they're getting ready to go off there, Jay comes down and gets in the ring, and basically telling Jimmy he's sorry. Gets out of the ring and goes hug Sammy, and saying he's with Sammy. They're flashing the ones. The crowd's going nuts. And they let it breathe for 2 or 3 minutes, and then out of nowhere, Jay kicks Sammy in the head, and turned on Sammy. So they're getting.
So Jay finally came back to the bloodline and turned on Sammy.
But earlier in the show, Sammy came out and said saved Kevin Owens. Owens didn't want no part of it. He still don't want nothing to do with Sammy. Guess who come out and helped Sammy at the end of the show? Cody Rhodes.
Oh wow! So now Cody Rhodes and Sammy are kind of becoming an item there.
And Kevin's going to come back. I mean, he's going to come back.
Yeah.
But they're tying that story together. You know, so they're doing it pretty smart.
I really believe Cody. I think, man, when we get WrestleMania, I've been saying. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think Cody Rhodes is going to take the crown away from.
I hope so. I think so too.
I think they're ready. I think they're ready to move on to Cody Rhodes, and that's such a beautiful storyline with Dusty Rhodes being the dad.
I think they would have already
American colors on, and it's just a good thing, man.
Honestly, Jay, they probably would have already moved on from Roman if Cody wouldn't have got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah, but he messed up that whole bicep thing. That really set him back. But at the end of the day, hey, it's all good because he's going to get it now. I mean, he's going to get it eventually.
But at the end of the day, it worked out great for WWE because look at the stars they've built with Sammy and everything.
Oh yeah, it just took that storyline in a different direction, but eventually that storyline is going to come back.
But the other thing is, I think Cody getting hurt and wrestling that match with that just made him stronger.
Yep.
With all the fans seeing him injured and everything, I think it just made him bigger.
It did.
I mean, I get the whole Roman Reigns acknowledge me and bloodline, and there are a lot of things you can play out that storyline. But for me, after a little bit, it started to get a little bit stale. And I like the Cody Rhodes effect. I like the energy that he brings to the character. I like the energy he brings to the crowd. I really love Seth Rollins. I love that whole entrance music that he has going on. I think he's just an incredible actor with that.
That's what Sami Zayn done for the bloodline, though, because it was starting to get a little stale, and then you added Sammy in there with that story, and that kind of
it gave a little bit of a jump spark.
Yep. Real quick, also they did announce tonight Logan Paul will be taking on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, so I think that's going to be good. I think
if they don't let Sammy, if they have Logan Paul win that match over him, I don't give a fuck. It's too predictable if they do that. No, seriously. I mean, that would be such a predictable thing for them to do. You know what I mean? I don't like that predictability. And let's be honest, Seth Rollins is a way more interesting character than Paul is.
But if you're really good, it don't make a difference. You know, they call the guy Shawn Michaels. I'm sure you heard of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I remember Shawn Michaels. Damn, I remember that. I sure do.
They call him Mr. WrestleMania. His record at WrestleMania is not very good. He's won maybe like 5 matches and lost like 12.
Yeah.
And he's Mr. WrestleMania.
Shawn Michaels, Bret the Hitman Hart. I remember some of them older school dudes, man.
Real quick before we get off the wrestling, I just wanted to
Hey, who's getting off? Nobody's getting off on anything, okay? This is a clean show. Totally clean show. Go ahead.
We watched the AEW pay-per-view last night. And the main event was outstanding. It was an Iron Man. It was a 1-hour match, Iron Man match between Brian Danielson. Excuse me, I about said Daniel Bryan. Brian Danielson against MJF, and it was outstanding.
Yeah, it was.
It was
And I'm not a big AEW fan, but that match was real good.
The pay-per-view was pretty good, but that match was, it might be match of the year. It's right up there. It was really good. MJF just made himself a bunch of freaking money. His contract's
Now, I like MJF. Now, like I said, I don't watch AD as much as you guys, but I like the MJF character, man. I liked him, and I did like CM Punk, but I don't know what's going on with CM Punk now. Is he kind of, I guess he's kind of gone by the wayside? What's going on with him now?
I don't know why he's going to end up getting into. I don't know if AEW wants him back, and then I don't see him going back to WWE, so he might be moving on to something different.
So he's kind of riding that off into the sunset type of thing, huh? For a career, which is crazy because he's still young enough to do all those, everything he needs to do. I mean, that's an incredibly short-lived career. He could have done so much better. By the way, Justin says, wait for it. Jay Carlos did 1746. I don't care what he did. He ain't gonna do nothing for the Yankees. Seriously. I mean, and I know I'm getting way off target on this, but let's just be honest. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, Frankie Montas, blah blah, Rodon, blah blah. You get outside the Nestor Cortez, you get outside Garrett Cole. And I'm telling you, and if you want to throw Luis Severino in there, I'll let you do that. But the problem with Severino is he always gets hurt, so he doesn't play the full damn season. So I never really considered Severino very long. Severino is like the Houston Astros version of Lance McCullers. McCullers is a great pitcher, but the guy always gets hurt. He's hurt right now, and he's not even going to start this season. I don't think we'll see Lance McCullers probably about the first 2 months of the season. Then I think he'll start working his way back in the rotation. But you just get pitchers that are like that. Sale for the Boston Red Sox is another guy like that. You just don't see him enough. So when you look at this Yankees rotation and you look at the Yankees team as a whole, I know Frankie doesn't want to hear this, but it's the truth. They added really no true offensive power to it. They actually lost Benintendi, who's, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's over there with the White Sox or somebody of that nature. I was really hoping the Astros would have got him. But, I mean, I would probably say I think Toronto's got a pretty good shot at winning that damn division, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good division. Toronto can get off to a stronger start because I thought they were going to be competing for that division last year, and they kind of got off to a slow start and started playing better toward second half of the season.
True,
they get a little more consistent.
I look at a team like Cleveland. I look at Toronto. Those are the teams outside of my division, that I think are going to give us, some fits maybe. Truth be known, I'm more concerned about the teams in my the teams in my division being Seattle and Texas than I am playing the Yankees or Toronto or whoever else. I just feel like, those are going to be tougher matchups, especially when we got to go and play every team in the league. Then you got to get to the National League side of it. You got to play the Phillies and the Mets and so forth.
I'm ready, dude. We got less than a month away from opening day.
Oh yeah. So I guess Justin's already kind of popped the cherry on it. We have the World Baseball Classic. It starts tomorrow. What are you expecting out of that? Let's just talk about Team USA. What are we expecting out of Team USA in terms of how well are they going to do against Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, whoever else?
It's going to be interesting because I think we have a good team, but man, there's some of them, the Dominican Republic, some of them other teams are pretty strong teams as well. So it's
Japan's coming in here with their team too. You know how Japan always plays tough.
To see, and it's going to be interesting to see how aggressive these the managers are with the pitchers and stuff as well.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely, I agree.
How long are they going to let a pitcher go? How serious are they going to take this? Dustin says Team USA will take third.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Glenn says Dominican Republic is too good. And real quick before we move on, this Wednesday, March 8th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Glenn is going to be joining us to talk wrestling, sports, all kinds of different things.
So, a little bit of everything.
So make sure you tune in Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
I'm gonna come on here and bust Glenn Robinson's or Glenn Richardson's cherry. I'm gonna bust his balls up a little bit. And I'm not even gonna do it as Jamie McLovin. I'm just gonna do it as an unknown alias.
Glenn, you ready to have your cherry busted?
Jay's gonna have a damn burner account. You gonna pull Katie, you have a burner account.
Hey, I'm gonna call myself Rick.
I don't count.
Damn. Mickey didn't give you a high today.
No, I was probably.
No, he can't. Chris, you need one more pillow. Chris, get on the other pillow. He can't see you over the laptop. There he is. Hey, somebody do a wave over there. Let's get a wave started at Gonzo'S Sports Room.
So you're gonna get me like Jackson?
Yeah. Hey, I'm not saying what my name's gonna be called, but if you see anybody called Rick the Dick, I don't know. or anybody called Tricky Dick. I mean, that might be my players to the late President Richard Milhouse Nixon. I am not a.
You ever seen the movie Bachelor Party?
Mm-hmm. With Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and they go to that strip club. And ladies go to strip club, and the dude puts his thing on the tray in the hot dog bun. I think if I remember, his name was Nick the Dick.
Yeah, I did that last night, and Melanie made the mistake of biting into the hot dog. Pissed me off.
Oh Lord!
It's like, damn it, woman.
Okay.
What a time to be alive. But no, folks, hey, like. I don't know, man. This World Baseball Classic, I want to get into it, but I just know we're going to get our asses handed to us. Like Glenn was saying, Dominican Republic. I think Cuba's going to have a good team. It's just, oh, man. Because, I mean, if you look at the Astros, we're 3/4 from South America or Dominica or Cuba. I mean, that's where we get most of our players, truthfully.
Yeah. Like I said, I just wonder how serious is like the USA managers taking it. Are they going to, how much are they going to push the players to try to win? And then you have the same thing. These major league players on these other countries' teams. How serious are these guys taking it?
Well,
I think we'll find that out pretty quick, though. Within the next, once we start seeing the first couple of games, and if the guys are taking it serious, dude, I think it's going to be a hell of a watch. It'll be real fun to watch.
And how much of an effect, again, we haven't had the damn first game yet. And every time I turn on baseball, it seems like somebody's bowing out of it. Not whether it's the U.S. side or another side, whatever, but you see players that are getting hurt and having to call it, having to go back to spring training or whatever. I just wonder how much of an effect it's going to have on when we actually do start this season and these guys go do 162 freaking games. And then they went and competed pretty damn hard at the baseball classic. How is that going to affect them physically getting ready for the season? I mean, you know what I mean? Whereas typically in spring training, they might play a little handful of games and primarily, you're getting, all of your minor leaguers in there taking the brunt of it.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And yeah, there has been like you said, guys bowing out. Let's see what Dustin just popped up. No one gave USA a chance in 2017, and they won. Mark DeRozan wants to win bad. The players want it bad.
And in truth, the players should want it bad, right? I mean, this is our pastime. This is where the birthplace of America baseball started, for crying out loud. I mean, it goes back to the damn 1800s, for crying out loud. I mean, this is our game. And if we're getting our asses handed on our game, we should take that kind of personally. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no more serious than I would imagine most of the European countries take soccer. I mean, that's kind of their game, I mean, this is our shtick. We should be the major ones in it.
Dustin says, put your money on the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Japan, or USA.
I'm telling you, man, don't look past Japan. Japan is one of those teams well, hell, that's another place we go and get great players from is Japan. I mean, pitchers. I think the Mets went and got their hitter from there. I mean, yeah, Japan. I'm telling you, man, I think Japan and especially Dominico. Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic is a team that scares me a lot because the Astros have a lot of Dominican players. We have a few Cubans as well, but primarily Dominican, Puerto Rico, and Cuba is where we get a lot of our players, especially most of our pitching rotation. Our starting pitching rotation is from there. So I'm telling you, it's going to be scary.
Switch gears a little bit here. What do you think about Derek Carr signing with the Saints?
Yeah, man. Well, you had to think he was either going to go to the Saints or he was going to go to the Jets. He was going to go someplace where he had familiarity. His offensive coordinator, Downing, is out there with the Jets. I really thought they had a strong case to get him, especially with all the weapons that the Jets are acquiring.
I thought Hackett was the offensive coordinator at the Jets.
I think it's Downing, isn't it? I know Downing is with the Jets. I thought he had the offensive coordinator. Either has the offensive coordinator or he's with the quarterback. He is on the off. He has something to do with the offense over there. I want to say he's an offensive coordinator, but he might be an assistant. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know he is with the Jets. That was one of the big sticking points for Carr. The other sticking point is with the Saints with Dennis Allen, because Dennis Allen was coach out there at the Raiders, and Carr has maintained a pretty close-knit relationship with Dennis Allen. So it's no surprise.
Yeah.
You're right. Dennis Allen is one that drafted Carr. Yeah. So it makes a lot of – you go where you feel comfortable, right? You want to succeed. And the Saints aren't a slouch team. They have Landry. They have Olave. They have Kamara if he can stay out of trouble. And then, you may or may not have Michael Thomas there.
I'm going to say probably not because I thought Hackett was the OC for the Jets.
Yeah, but Downing is out there with the Jets. I just don't know.
Well, yeah.
I'm just not 100% sure what his role is there.
But no, I think it was a good move for Carr. I think it's a good fit with the Saints, and I think for the Saints, I think they got him at a pretty decent price.
Which is the
best? He got 150 million, and out of the 150 million, 100 million of it's guaranteed. And then the way that they were able to structure, or the way he allowed the Saints to structure his deal, it gives the team cap flexibility. Well, so it works out, I think, for both sides.
That's one thing I worry about with the Saints, though, is they don't have much cap space. They're already.
Oh yeah. No, the way he divvied up the money in those years, it really does give them flexibility, which like you said, they need.
Let me ask you a couple questions. In your opinion, which was the better team? The Jets a better team to win now, or the Saints?
I still have the Jets. I like Breece Hall. And it really kind of depends on how Breece Hall comes back from everything. But the way Breece Hall was running that ball was stupid. And then they got Garrett Wilson, who's a great wide receiver. They just need to have the right guy at the helm to really, get the Jets going where the Jets need to go. That's the problem. They don't have the right guy at the helm right now.
Okay, another thing, though, but with the Saints, that's probably an easier division, though.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, if you look at the Jets division, with the exception of Buffalo, I mean, the Jets could if the Jets had signed Carr, I really believe the Jets could have won that division. I think they had the right team that could win that division with Carr at the helm, because he would have been wide receivers. They already had a good running game. They got a pretty damn good defense. They got Sauce Gardner that's out there shutting everything down. I mean, what are the Patriots really going to do, honestly, this year? They got a lot of growing to do. What the Dolphins? That's only if Tua stays healthy. Yeah, passing coordinator. I knew he had a role there. I just wasn't 100% sure what it was. But passing coordinator, that makes sense.
But Tampa Bay don't have a quarterback. Atlanta don't have a quarterback.
And that's the thing too, man. I mean, honestly, and then Tampa also lost Fournette. They lost their running back at Fournette. I don't know who they're going to have.
Carolina
I forget the running back over there.
All right,
so right now the Saints have a quarterback.
Yes. Oh, the Saints have the best quarterback in that division
at this point.
I forget, man. You have to remind me of all the teams that are in the damn Saints division. I don't keep up that division too much. Who else is in the Saints division?
Got Tampa Bay.
Tampa's over there, right?
Atlanta. And Carolina.
He's the best quarterback in that division right now.
Well, no, he's definitely the best quarterback in the division.
And he's probably going to be the best quarterback in that division going into the season, because I mean, Tampa are talking about starting Trask. Who knows who Carolina is going to have, and then then don't know what Atlanta's going to do. Are they going to start Ritter? I know Dustin says that Atlanta is wanting Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I can see Jimmy. I don't know, man. You say he could be reunited with Robert Salah in New York, and that's fine and dandy. But don't you think he'd feel much more comfortable going over there with Josh McDaniels, since Josh McDaniels was his offensive coordinator in New England? I mean, come on, and he knows that system too. And let's be honest, in the Raiders division, their main competition is going to be the Chiefs. Which, by the way, the Chiefs just lost their number one edge rusher in Clark.
Main competition is going to be the Broncos, man. They got Sean Payton. He's the Russell Wilson miracle worker.
Hey, guy. Rome wasn't built in a day, okay? You think he's going to have that Super Bowl ready team in 1 year? That man got his work cut out for him over there at Bronco land. You're going to have to give him a little bit of time to settle in. And hell, he's still picking out the paint colors of his office. He ain't even got a hold of that team yet. But no, I mean, there's a lot of good spots for a lot of good people. Jimmy G, like with the Raiders, Jets. I
think Aaron Rodgers is going to end up with the Jets.
Honestly, that would be the best place for him to go is the Jets and reunite with Hackett, and then let him throw the ball to Garrett and Garrett and I forget. See, I don't really know Garrett. Well, I don't know a whole lot of their damn wide receivers out there at New York.
What about the Raiders?
I think the Raiders would be a good fit for him because you would be reuniting with Adams, but
he's going to cost too much. He's going to cost too much for the Raiders, man.
But the Jets have a better defense than the Raiders, and with the Raiders, you're going to have to deal with Josh McDaniels,
right? And there is still out there, I know people don't want to believe that, but the Raiders could still potentially move up in the draft, and Darren Waller could be the piece that they move to get that quarterback. So I think the Raiders are kind of the question mark in the draft, and I think they're a question mark for the season, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of open-ended questions that surround the Raiders. And don't be surprised, I swear to God, don't be surprised if Seattle tries to make a play on the quarterback at that number 5 spot. Don't be surprised if you see it.
What they signed? What's his name?
Yeah, they did sign an extension.
However, Pete Carroll's already came out and said us signing Geno Smith was already going to happen. What Carroll's saying is, despite signing Smith, I ain't never had the opportunity to draft my own quarterback. Since Pete Carroll's been with the Seahawks, he's never had a top 10 selection. Hell, he's never even had a top 5 selection. The last time they had a top 5 selection was number 4 selection that they took that linebacker, Aaron, whatever his name was, in the 2009 draft. So don't be surprised that Pete Carroll's already come out and publicly said that he is very well connected with the draft prospects in this draft. And I'm just telling you, keep your eye out on that. Seahawks could pull out the undercard and pull up and get that number 1 or possibly even 2 spot. Or even the number 4 spot, depending on who the Bears decide to trade with out of that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
So I'm right now. Those first 10 picks. Those first 10 picks in the draft, there's going to be a lot of movement.
I hope they don't move up to number 1 and take Bryce Young.
I hope they don't move up to number 1 and take anybody. I don't want to give up any picks.
No.
And I don't think there's anybody there worth to give up the picks.
I actually got in my mock draft, if Gonzo would have been there on Saturday, you son of a bitch. If Gonzo would have been there on Saturday.
I was watching a kid that we used to coach in wrestling. I was watching him win a Big Ten championship in wrestling.
Listen, you are lucky that this is a clean show, because my number 1 response to that would have been so inappropriate but funny at the same time. But I am turning over a new leaf here today, so I'm going to keep my mouth closed on that one. But it was really good. I am a glorious bastard, Joseph Michaels. I appreciate you acknowledging. Acknowledge me.
Oh, yes.
I watch it every now and then.
We're going to have to clip that.
Yeah.
Now listen, damn it. I'm telling you, I've already. I had the Colts drafting at 1 via trade. By the way, I had the Texans still drafting at number 2.
Hey, let me ask you this:
I forget what I had 3. I think I had I still had the Cardinals at 3.
I ain't worried about who you have at 3. Who'd you have the Colts drafted at 1?
No, I definitely had them still going with Bryce Young at 1.
Son of a bitch.
Fuck Bryce Young.
I did. I still think that Jim Irsay he wants Bryce.
I think they want Levis is what I keep hearing, but
man. I actually have Levis. I have Levis going to the Panthers is where I have him. I still have him going, and I have Anthony Richardson possibly going to Atlanta.
So
because I have Anthony Richardson slipping out of the top 5.
But you know what Richardson's percentage of completions was?
I actually had that written down at one point.
53 or 55%.
Yeah.
That worries me. I mean, but they think that he'll get better. But, and the one dude that's on ESPN, they used to be a director of football operations. He was you know who I'm talking about.
I actually had Anthony Richardson as one of the winners at the combine. Dr. Reese said, not mentioning names, but April 12th, a certain QB is having his pro day. He is drafted number 2 overall in the USFL draft and may enter NFL draft with a good pro day. I don't know if he's trying to allude to his quote unquote incarnate Warren son of a bitch that can't spell, tacos on Wednesday. Whatever.
Okay, well, let's go back.
Whatever. If you want to go with your boy, I don't remember what that dude's name was. You would think I would remember it because he's only said it like about 1,000 times.
Oh, son of a bitch. Damn.
Man, hey, this dude be calling me like 2 o'clock in the morning. Yo, Jay, man.
Hey, that's cool.
You heard about that kid? You heard about that kid out of Cardinal War? No, motherfucker, my eyes were closed. Shit.
That's cool that ASAP's gonna be covered.
Yeah, that's cool.
Covered the pro day.
You know where else ASAP's going to be in attendance on a pro day? I can't say because it's inappropriate.
But they was comparing Richardson to Hooker from Tennessee and said Hooker's Tennessee his was 70% completion rate.
I think Hendon's. I still have Hendon. I still got to look at the draft. I'm still kind of putting my mock draft together, but I still have Hendon Hooker either making a late first round or possibly early second round. I think he either goes first or second. I think Max Duggan will be a day 3. I think Stetson Bennett will be a day 3. And there is, in my opinion, a quote-unquote Brock Purdy possibly in that 3rd day. I'm not going to tell you his name today because I'm going to say that for unscripted. But I'm just telling you, there is, I believe, another Brock Purdy in this draft. And you're going to have to wait to find out who I think that possibly is. Irsay loves him. And yeah, man, I get the whole thing with Levis. And actually, Levis had a good pro day. And I got to be honest with you. All 3 of the top guys had good pro days. Stroud had a good pro day. Richardson had a good pro day. What's the other guy? Levis had a good pro day. A lot of them had really good pro days. And I'm still kind of curious as to how that affects Bryce Young, because you got to think, in my mind, Bryce Young's not throwing. He did an okay interview. He's going to have his own select pro day, but a pro day is only going to be the throws that he wants to throw. And if I'm an offensive coordinator, I don't want to just see what you think you want to show me. I want you to see and do combine where I get a plethora of different things.
And Richardson was blowing people away with his interviews, is what I've heard.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right.
In his arm.
Stroud and CJ Stroud was the one that had
his speed,
good interview.
4.40. I mean, dude's a hell of an athlete.
Okay, Chris.
But
we don't. You're not getting Carr. I don't think we're going to get an experienced quarterback. We're going to draft for the future. He's going to be our quarterback. Who should we take? Fourth pick. We're not moving up. Let's say fourth pick.
At 4th.
Or who do you want out of those 3, 4, 5 guys? I think who would you rather see?
I think if we stay at 4, we should take Richardson because I think Stroud and Young will both be gone. So I would take Richardson.
You know, well, like I said, the interesting thing about Richardson, he ran a 4.43 in the 40, and he did have a pretty good arm day. He was making a lot of good deep throws. So yeah, Richardson looked pretty nice.
I think the Colts, though, if they stay at 4, they might take Levis. But if you're at 4, I would take Richardson.
I'll tell you this. Hey, one thing I noticed about Levis, and one of the big things they loved about him was he had a 59-mile-an-hour deep ball throw, and he threw it with accuracy. 59 miles an hour with accuracy. And he had really good intermediate passes, according to what they were saying as well. So,
a lot of Stroud's there for.
I don't know, man, because I'm not completely sold on Stroud. I do think Richardson is a little bit of a project. He needs some polishing.
If Richardson's a project,
I think he's kind of like. I mean, I think you go start him because I mean, you start him that first year with a rookie quarterback. Usually, not going to win the first year anyway. So I mean, you can start him. I think he's going to be comparable to maybe like a Josh Allen.
I'll tell you this. Hey, I'll take. Well, this he has a big. I think Stroud Young. I think Stroud Young and Levis and Richardson all go first round, and I think second round. That's where I think you see Hendon Hooker, Duggan, Bennett. You know, all the other guys beyond that.
Well, I think
will get drafted in that first round.
I think Richardson is kind of comparable to Josh Allen when Josh Allen was coming out. Has the big arm, hell of an athlete. You just worry a little bit about his accuracy because his completion percentage is low.
Well, but why is his completion percentage low though? But why is it? He has a problem with dealing with the pressure. He can throw the ball on the run, but the problem is when he gets under pressure, he tends to fade out or he tends to throw off that back foot.
That's what I'm saying. And Allen was kind of like that. And now look at the progression Allen's been able to make.
With him, it's going to come down to whoever develops him or can develop him.
Yeah.
But if he can learn how to throw better and stop throwing off that damn back foot, he'll definitely will excel.
Dustin says he's heard that Vikings are going to take Hendon Hooker in the second round.
I mean, that's a possibility. I don't even know where they're drafting, but they definitely they're gonna have to figure out who they want for Kirk Cousins, replacement. And it's probably going to take them a little bit with Hendon Hooker. He doesn't have to come in right away and try to be the guy because he's still coming off that damn injury. So it gives him time to recuperate from the injury and then, get into the rotation. Yeah, he is a bigger version of Lamar, but he has a better cannon than Lamar. Lamar don't have that cannon. Richardson has a better throwing arm. So he is a bigger version of Lamar. But I think he's got better throwing. He's got more strength in that throwing arm. And if he can learn to throw with accuracy when he's on the run, then Lamar will be a faded memory. I think Lamar's going to be a faded memory anyway. I don't see Lamar doing a goddamn thing in this league. He's a playmaker. I'll give him that. Hey, when it comes to Lamar Jackson's legs, he's a playmaker. I just don't see it with him. And they're hell-bent determined they're going to use the tag on Lamar Jackson. So we shall see. I hate Lamar Jackson. I don't hate him as a person. I just hate the idea of Lamar Jackson.
They have till tomorrow to decide what tag they're going to put on him.
Oh, I think they give him the $40 million exclusive tag.
Let's switch gears. I want to get actually, we'll stay with that for a minute because I was actually hearing reports today that they might do the non-exclusive tag.
Oh, well, I mean that's true though because they could go that route if they want to see what other people value him at.
Because they do that, they can see what other people value him at. He gets a contract offer for somewhere else, and if they don't want to match it, they get 2 first-round picks.
Which in all honesty. And if nobody matches it, then they're going to pay him $32 million. So it would probably behoove them to go non-exclusive, just so you can find out what the market thinks. If you want to match what the market thinks, or if you're willing to let them go and get the draft picks. I mean, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
That's what I've been reading and hearing today is that they might do non-exclusive tag.
And then if the market says, no, Lamar Jackson, you're not worth, what you think you're worth, then they only got to pay 32. And when it comes to that next future contract, it then puts the power base back in the Ravens' court because they already saw what the market thought of them at the first go around. So that's not a bad idea. I think business-wise, it makes really good sense.
Dustin said they also signed Huntley to an extension.
Man, hell with Huntley. What a piece of shit. I'm not sold on Huntley either, man.
You used to be sold on Huntley. What the hell happened?
No, I did, but have you seen Huntley play? No, seriously, have you seen? Hey, when Lamar, I was. No, there was a time when I was kind of sold on Lamar. No, you're right. You're not wrong. But when Lamar went down this last go around, and I saw the way Huntley was playing the last 3 or 4 games, even though I know he made it to the Pro Bowl, his completion rate wasn't good.
He's a Pro Bowler.
How did he make the Pro Bowl?
Oh, that's a whole story in and of itself.
I don't win.
He threw 2 touchdowns.
Hey, watch this. You ever seen Process of Elimination?
Nobody wanted to go.
I'm just saying, this Process of Elimination. A, B, and C were hurt, and they wound up having to go with D.
Hey, let's switch to college football for a minute because I want to get your take on this. Cause I know you watch this team a lot.
Yes, Texas is going to be number 1 next year. We will work our way there. We're in the SEC. Archie Manning has arrived.
Here's the question. Sarkisian has said that it's going to be a quarterback competition between Manning and Ewers.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
You think? Why do you think the chances are of Manning maybe taking that job from Ewers?
Hey, I'm not going to limit anybody. I'm certainly not going to put anybody in a box. I mean, this is a Manning. He did break records in high school of his 2 famous brothers. So I'm not going to try to limit this kid. If he comes in and if he's got the goods and if they feel like he's the real deal, as a freshman, throw his ass in there. But I will say, going from high school to college, even though you may be a Manning brother, I would not be surprised if Ewers still gets that job just because, truthfully speaking, hell, Ewers was beating the crap out of Alabama up until the point where he got hurt.
Well,
so
I'll be honest. In my opinion,
yeah,
unless Manning comes in and is just blowing you away and it just makes it where you don't have no choice but to start him.
Right.
Well, why not go with Ewers for 1 year? Let Manning get comfortable in college. Because then you redshirt him that year, and then you still have 4 years of eligibility.
Hey, honestly, if I'm Sarkisian,
now
I'm doing. Hey, if I'm Nick Sarkisian, I'm doing my best Nick Saban. What I mean by that is, you don't have to start Archie Manning year 1. You, like you said, you can go with Ewers because Ewers played. I thought he played really well, and I think you use Archie Manning as a sales ploy when you're recruiting next year's class to bring in next year's class. Hey, by the way, I got Archie Manning coming by. If for wide receivers and so forth, use Archie Manning as a sales ploy.
Well, like what Dustin's saying, he said Manning should start, but they won't because they'll redshirt him to recruit more weapons around him and then turn him loose.
Oh, Dustin, I'm glad you could carbon copy me, you non-original son of a bitch.
Oh, God.
He's been on everybody tonight.
Well, I'm just saying, he just said the exact same damn thing I said, except I said it first. You son of a bitch.
Actually, I think he might have.
Dustin knows I love his ass. Dustin's he's like my son that I just found out yesterday. I didn't pull out quick enough and I spawned him. So it is. But you're not getting no damn support. You pass that train, buddy.
To me, unless Manning just looks like night and day better than Ewers when you're going in the practice. Starting the season, that's the only way to me that you play Manning. Other than that, you redshirt him, get more weapons in there, so that way you have 4 years with him with the best possible team.
Because the worst thing is he comes in with all that talent. Maybe he's not quite ready. You throw him into the baptismal fire. If he doesn't pan out that first year,
I think he's ready. I've seen him play.
I'm not like I said. I'm not going to doubt the kid. He may be ready.
But
like we were saying earlier, I think
You know
Archie's
what I
a
mean?
better. I think he's a better gimmick to get more people for recruiting classes next year, and I think he makes his debut next year.
Never know. We'll find out.
I will tell you this though: the one thing I love about Texas moving over to the SEC is nobody can sit there and say anymore. Well, Texas, they don't have the SEC schedule. They're in the Big 12, blah blah blah, and all that bullshit. Now that we're in the SEC, y'all can all shut the f up. We're here, baby. Texas is in the SEC. We're here.
I haven't seen him play yet.
You ever seen him play? I saw some of his high school games, and when he was, they had some of them on TV, especially during the pandemic. You got to see him quite a bit.
No,
what do you expect out of Oklahoma? They're going to be in the SEC next year too, with Venables, whatever you say. How you say that guy's name?
Brett.
How do you think Oklahoma's going to fare next year in the SEC?
I think they'll be better next year. I think it's going to be the year after that when they really make their turn. He has to get that defense. He has to get his players in there on defense. And we saw what he could do with if he get the right players. Look what he did in Clemson with the
right
for so many years, and that's been Oklahoma's biggest problem is their defense. And I think he'll get it fixed, but he has to start getting his players in there.
Right.
I think they'll be better this year than last year, but I think it might be another year before you see.
The only thing that I don't like about it. The only thing I don't like about Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC together is the fact that we lose the Red River Shootout, which was a huge matchup every year. Every year, that was like history. Every year, Texas, Oklahoma goes at it in the Red River Shootout. But I looked at their schedule the year coming up, and Oklahoma's not even on their schedule. So we won't even get to see the Red River Shootout this year. So for Texas, Oklahoma fans, that's kind of a big thing that we're losing, part of our rivalry that we're losing. So that's one thing. That's one of the downsides to it.
Yeah.
I got a question. I want to change things up just a second.
It's going to be all sports, Glenn, not just football. To answer your question, it's going to be all sports.
It does have to do with college basketball, the question I've got, and it's got with the great state of Texas. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Texas Tech coach getting suspended.
Yeah.
For using the Bible verse during a speech with his players and stuff, and in the Bible verse, I get. Should I read it?
You can read it. You're quoting
the Bible.
You're quoting what we said.
Well, he got in trouble for being racially insensitive. The school says Adams referred to a Bible verse about workers, teachers, parents, and slaves serving their masters during a coaching session with players, and he got suspended.
And again, I don't want to get into the insensitivities of that word. Was we all know it is insensitive, but you also had to understand back in biblical times, Israelites were slaves to the Egyptians.
Yes.
And that's what that Bible verse is quoting was that time period. And, if you want to get mad because the guy used a Bible verse, so be it. Get mad at the guy because he used a Bible verse. Do I think he should lose his job or get suspended because he used a Bible verse? I think that's going a little too far left on it. You got into the context in which he used the Bible verse, and I don't know the context to be able to say if he was right or wrong. I'd have to know what the context was and why he said that specific Bible verse. But you also understand, we are a very sensitive time period right now, and I think people are looking for anything and everything as part of cancel culture to get rid of things. And again, you really can't make an observation on it without knowing the context of it. And I don't know what the context was, but to fire a man just on a Bible verse to me seems kind of ludicrous.
I don't think they fired him. I think he's just suspended.
Personally, I
think he's suspended for investigational purposes.
I don't think he should have got suspended unless something came out and the context was different. But just for quoting the Bible verse to me, you shouldn't be suspended. And he's probably. I'd like to know the context of it.
Right.
The coaches do stuff like that. You say different things in certain contexts to try to get your team focused and fired up and stuff. And it's not in no racially charged way or anything. It's just like you say, quoting the Bible, and when them quote the way that quote was wrote back then, is different from how it is now.
Yep.
And that's the thing too. It's really kind of interesting to me because when you read the article, it doesn't even give you the context. It just gives you the verse and then everybody else's thought process behind it. But nowhere in that article does it tell you what was said leading up to the Bible verse and what was said after the Bible verse and what the situation was in which the Bible verse was used. So without having all those key details, it's in my opinion, it's kind of irresponsible for not only reporters to do it that direction, but for the team to do it that direction.
Did a player go complain about it? Is that how it got?
Yeah, a player, and I don't know if they even said the name of the player, but a specific player in there took issue with the word slavery in the Bible verse, and that caused the flare up. Well, hell. I mean, what if you go to church and the guy is preaching a sermon and that Bible verse is a sermon? Do you then say, well, the preacher is racially, biased towards something or whatever? I mean, come on. I mean, what's really going on here?
You suspend the preacher for three Sundays.
and please, not to throw it out there, but this is part of the Bible Belt, for crying out loud. I mean, it really is. I mean, the part of this specific part of the country we're talking about is part of the Bible Belt. And so people do use Bible verses. Hell, when I played in high school football, even in middle school, we said prayers and said Bible verses too. I remember that back in the day. And I don't know. It was a different time period. We live in a different time period now. So take that for what you will. I just say without knowing the full context, how are you going to write a story without having all the damn details to it?
Yeah. What do you think about the Seahawks signing Geno to an extension?
I thought it was great. The man was number 1 in completion rate last year. He was number 6 in QBR. How do you not sign this man? I mean, he's 32 years old. He's in his prime. You probably get another good 2 to 3 years of good, productive football out of Geno if you keep the weapons around him and keep, the offensive line around him. I mean, Geno could do a lot of good things. So, I mean, why would you not sign him at this point?
I'm glad for him. I mean, I think it's awesome, that he got an opportunity and made the best of it.
Well, I think he was their best option right now, too. I mean, who would you go if you moved on from him? Who were you going to get? Unless you're.
Well, that's right.
You know what I mean?
And let's be honest. I'm doing some quick math here, but he got $105 million, and that was over 3 years. So that puts him at about $35 million per year.
You're good.
And yet we think all of us now, mind you, I want you to think about this for a minute. He's number 1.
You saw him punching buttons in that calculator.
Who was punching buttons?
You when you came up with those numbers. When you came up with those numbers.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Are you saying that I can't calculate math on my own?
I was just saying that he said it was quick.
What are you really saying? But no, hey, look. Think about this for a minute, Gonzo. Think about how crazy this sounds to me when I think about this. Let's look at the facts. He's getting $35 million a year. He's the number 1 in completion percentage. He's number 6 in QBR. $35 million. This is the first year that he's put up really good numbers. Daniel Jones finally put up good numbers this year, and he thinks he's going to go for what? $45 million? How stupid is that?
Hey, you have to go in there with a high price because
I understand that, but it just tells me that he's thinking unrealistic.
How they gonna do that, Chris?
I almost said it.
What they gonna do?
They're gonna work them down.
How they gonna do that?
Careful. We will catch your ass quicker than shit. But no, I mean, to me, it's just ludicrous. When I look at the two quarterbacks, I look at Geno. Geno's a little bit more understanding of look, it was one good year, 30 million, 35 million, Seahawks 35 million. Very, very, good business on both sides of the ball. You look at Daniel Jones, I think he's a little lopsided on his expectations. To me, if he really thinks he's worth 45 million on 1 year of halfway decent football, he's retarded. And if New York gives it to him, they're even more retarded. Now, it seems to me like New York is looking at somewhere between 35 to 39 million. And I think that's what Daniel Jones gets. I think when it's all said and done, I think Daniel Jones around 35.
What I tell you last week that I thought he would get?
30 to 35 million. And here's the deal, too. And I'm glad that John Suggs put this in there. I'm going to give him a little credit on that because it does put him in limbo with Barkley. If you give Daniel Jones more than $35 million, you're not going to be able to sign Barkley. It's not financially going to happen for you.
They could franchise tag Barkley this season and then work on him, sign them next year.
Stay with me on planet Earth, Chris. If you sign this man for more than $35 million, franchise tag or not, it still could put them either A, over the hard cap, or B, make it very difficult after the tag is over with to still give him his money unless Daniel Jones is willing to restructure his contract. What I'm saying is, if they give that man more than $35 million, I promise you, Barkley will not be a part of the
But I don't think they're going to give him more than 35. I think he's going to get 30 to 35 for 2-3 years.
But then what if Daniel Jones is boneheaded and says no to $35 million? Then they got to franchise him, which they would franchise tag. They'd have to franchise tag him, and then hopefully Barkley would settle for somewhere in the 10 million range that they want to try to keep Barkley.
Yeah, he's probably. I mean, really, how much you think Barkley's going to get a year? He's not going. I mean. Even if he goes.
Well, Barkley's coming off a solid year.
Yeah,
I mean, although his injuries played behind the solid year, but he still came off a solid year at running back, and he's 26, right? Am I right? Is he 20? He's only 26 years old, correct?
I think so. Okay. What I'm saying is, I think he's 26. What I'm saying, Jay, is the way that they value running backs now. I think it's not like he's going to get like a $25-30 million a year contract. It's going to be probably
11, isn't it?
Probably going to be 10 to. Well, franchise tag, I think, is around 11. But I mean, to sign him, if you try to sign him, you're looking probably 12 to 15 million a year. That's maybe why he going to get.
I think, and John Suggs also says Giants have 41.213 million in effective cap space before Jones's new contract becomes official. So if you only got 41 million in cap space, that puts you at 35 million. For Jones plus the 10 million, you couldn't do it. He'd have to go for 30 million. I mean, the numbers are going to have to be as such that if they want to retain both, I think effectively you get Daniel Jones around 30-32 million. And if he doesn't want to do 30 or 32 million, then he franchised like you said earlier, with the non-exclusive, which they only got to pay him 32 million. And then you work out a deal possibly in the near future later on, which then allows you to work out a deal with Barkley. And yes, Barkley will have to take a little bit of a pay cut if he wants to stay with the Giants. He may have to sell for $8 million, vice $10 million, in order to make that $41 million cap hit work.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you is, say Barkley goes on free agency. Why you think somebody? Like, what do you think somebody?
I think somebody will give him. I think they'll give him in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 million. The exact number I couldn't tell you, but I think he gets somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10.
I figure he's going to try to get, like John just put up there, 12 to 15.
And John Suggs, that would only really work for the 12 to 15 if he didn't have all the injured years behind him. One good year from a running back that's 26 years old. Nobody's going to give 12 to 15 million for that. And if they do, they're complete morons and idiots. For a guy that's only had one good season coming off all the years of injuries. I'm just saying, look, let's call it spade. Let's call it spade. Or I don't know if he can say spade. That might be racial. Let's call a heart a heart. Okay? Because you got to be careful with these days, man. I'm not trying to get cancel culture here. Let's call a heart a heart.
I think I'd give him 12. I don't think
12. No. If they do, they're complete morons.
I think that'd be my.
How you gonna get the price down?
Oh no, I'm saying I don't think the market is going to allow that. I don't think the market's going to give him $10 million. I think the market gives him. I mean, they may give. I would say at the most, $10 million is what they give him. I don't think they give him more than $10 million for a guy that's 26 years old and finally had his first solid season. And all of a sudden, now you want me to give him 12 to 15 when I can go and get Leonard Fournette, or I can go get somebody out of the draft and pay half that. I just injury-prone running back that's in the middle of his years is just not financially. It's not smart.
Oh, I think if he becomes a free agent, I think he might find a team that give him 12.
What's Zeke make right now?
I don't have the exact number, but I do know it's over 10. I want to say it's probably like around 10 or 11.
And do you think Dallas is going to move on, or what do you think?
That's a good damn question. They've said they're not. I think what Dallas is going to have to do, they've already I know they're going to tag Pollard. That's just going to happen. Pollard's going to get tagged. Do I think they should tag Pollard? No. I think they should tag freaking Schultz. But they're probably going to tag Pollard. And what's going to happen then is I think they're going to, if they're smart, they're going to have to go to Zeke and look, Zeke, if you want to stay with the Cowboys, we got to work with this cap number, because right now the Cowboys are currently $7.6 million over the cap. Somebody's got to take a pay cut. Who's going to take the pay cut? And I think Zeke is going to have to be the one to take the pay cut. And I think if Zeke is unwilling to take a pay cut, then I think they cut Zeke, and I think they find their next running back in the draft.
Yeah, they tagged Pollard today.
Yeah, and which I still think is the dumbest move for them, because there's a lot of running backs out there available if he doesn't want to take, a reduced rate or whatever the case may be.
That's what I told Dad.
There's a lot of running backs out there. How many? Let me ask you this, Gonzo, Tony. How many quality tight ends are out there right now?
Well, that's what I said. I would have tagged the tight end before I tagged Pollard, especially with Pollard coming off a broken leg, man.
I heard.
I mean, that's
more than just a broken leg, though. The fact that he's coming off you're right, though. It is a broke leg, but it's also the membrane in between the two fibula and tibula that's jacked up, and that membrane that's in between the two bones. That's what gives you the stability in the leg. So not only is his leg broke, but the membrane that gives you stability is jacked up. I mean, he's fighting two different battles in that damn leg.
I did read an article recently that the Colts were interested in Schultz.
God, I fucking hate the Colts.
I did read an article.
I don't really hate the Colts, but I really hate the Cowboys for being dumb not to put the tag on them. Or, I give Schultz $13 million. The guy is an integral part of that receiving core, even though he plays tight end. But Schultz is like a Beasley mentality, but at the tight end spot. I don't know if y'all remember Cole. I love Cole Beasley. I love the way that man would go across the middle at 5'10", 5'9", wherever that man was. He wasn't very tall. He wasn't very big. But that guy would go across the middle, always make the catch, always take the big hit, always get up for the next play. I love that mentality. And Schultz has that mentality. He's not the biggest guy, but he's got great hands, and he's tough. And he'll give you that short, intermediate passes when the deep coverages break down or the running game is for shit. And that's what I like about Dalton Schultz. Novacek back in the Super Bowl days did the same thing. And what's his name? The one that just recently retired. God, Jason Witten. Jason Witten was in that same mode. The Cowboys have had three great tight ends: Witten, Novacek, and Schultz. And if they let Schultz go, fuck the damn Cowboys. I love my Cowboys. I'll be a Cowboy day I die, but damn it, Jerry Jones, I hate you.
Who'd you like better, Novacek or Witten?
Novacek, and it wasn't even twice on Sunday. But I will say this, though, Tony. It's a very, very fine line between Novacek and Witten. I got to be honest. Witten was a hell of a guy. Seriously, that guy was big. He could catch. He was dependable, just like Jay Novacek. You know, both those guys were cut out of the same cloth. And Dalton Schultz is out of the same cloth as well. He's just not as big as Witten or Novacek was. But very dependable, very tough, nevertheless. You just don't see tight ends like that very often. Kelsey's an anomaly. Waller's another great tight end that doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Tony Gonzalez, incredible. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, I know, right? Antonio Gates. I mean, you know, there's really good George Kittle. I mean, there's very good tight ends in the league that really stand out, but they are so far and in between. You know, you don't get those guys all the time. You know what I mean? The Mark Andrews of the league. You don't get those guys all the time. They're special guys when they come along. They don't come along nearly as much as wide receivers do or as running backs do. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
They just don't come along that often.
But the problem with running backs, and you can find running backs, but running backs just don't seem to last very long. 3 or 4 years. I mean, there's.
And I didn't mention Gronk. I don't want people to think that I didn't think Gronk, but yeah.
Yeah, running backs don't.
And they may want to go get Gesicki, but I don't understand. Why do you have to go get Mike Gesicki when you already got the tight end you need? I mean, I just don't understand that. I don't understand it. There's a few things in this world I don't understand. That's one of them.
I know who Dallas is going to get him for tight end. Coach.
Well,
yeah, we're gonna send Mo Alley-Cox over to Dallas.
Yeah, what's the Mo Alley-Cox to you guys?
Hey, at this point, if they don't sign Dalton Schultz, fuck it. Just fuck it.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, when I go to a local sports bar, what do you think about the Cowboys? I just say fuck it.
Hey, if they don't sign Dalton Schultz, I'll send you a Colts hat.
We'll have the Colts sign Dalton.
Oh,
Schultz. Yeah. Colts sign Schultz. We'll send you a Colts hat.
Hold on a minute. I think we're experiencing technical difficulties out here in Houston. I don't want to let you guys experience the amount of BS that's coming out of Colts Nation. Those guys, they're not cooking with a full griddle. The elevator only goes to the 9th floor. It don't make it to the 10th. Telling me you going, no, Jay. Don't do it, Jay. Put them back in the damn thing, because otherwise I'll never invite you to come back again. Hey, there you go.
Hey, when did you?
Man, I almost hit the delete button on Tony by accident. What were you saying?
When did you already move to Houston?
When am I moving to Houston?
No, you just said you was in Houston.
You said you was in Houston. When did you move to Houston? I thought you.
Oh no, I'm sorry, my bad. I misspoke. No, I'll be living for Houston in June. You know that, and I'll be out there in June. God, what a time to be. I can't wait to be there too, damn it. Been hearing from radio stations around here in North Carolina is they might be giving their first-round pick 6 and 24 first-round pick for Bears pick and get that ain't. I could see it, but I don't see it. But that is a good. You know what? No, John Suggs. That's actually. It depends on if Carolina wants to go with the capital. I mean, I've seen Levis tied to them. I've seen Richardson tied to the Panthers. I don't know that they're willing to move up all the way for Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud for that matter. But then again, it's draft day, baby. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. You never know. Seahawks, like I said, and that's what we were talking about Saturday. Had Gonzo attended, is there's so many.
Why can't you just say Saturday? Why do I have to be?
No, I'm putting you on blast, you motherfuckers. I asked you said you were going to be there. So you know what? You hurt my feelings. Like the watercolor memories of my mind.
I got to watch a Big Ten wrestling.
It's all right, man. Listen, I'm not mad at you. But what we were saying, though, seriously, was the number of options that seriously could go down within the first 5 picks is stupid. Because, and you got to think, if you're the Bears, you're going to have deals coming at you right and left for that number 1 spot. I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way in hell the Bears will keep number 1. I'm telling you right now, the Bears are not keeping number 1. The problem is, who is going to take number 1? You got Houston, who possibly does, if they really are sold on Bryce Young, maybe they do it. Then you got the Colts. If they really want Stroud and they don't think they can get Stroud anywhere else other than 1, maybe they do it. Or maybe they work out a deal where the Colts wind up at number 2 if they think the Texans are going to take Bryce Young and they get Stroud at number 2. Number 3, you got Seattle, which we already said they got the number 5 spot, but Pete Carroll has said he is very well connected and could possibly move up. And let me tell you something. If you're a head coach and you've ever had the option to pick up your quarterback, you're going to probably really weigh heavily about moving up to that number 1 spot. Then you got the Raiders. Could they give up Darren Waller? Maybe a couple of picks. There's so many teams, Gonzo, Tony, that can move up to that number 1 spot that I'm going to be having popcorn after ready just to see how those first 10 picks unfold.
Nate says he has a feeling Dalton Schultz is going to the Chargers.
Possibly, because who else is at the Chargers?
And then Dustin says that the culture of the favorites to land Irv Smith Jr. It's tied in from Minnesota.
That's what I say. I'd rather have Schultz.
But then again, hey, like I said, hey, if you're Dalton Schultz and the Chargers are willing to pay you what you're worth, and you're going back to your old offensive coordinator and Kellen Moore, and you got a guy like Justin Herbert throwing you the ball, how is that not probably one of the best places that he possibly would? And I mean, seriously, that's like going from, a girl that you found at the mall. No, it's like going from a girl you found at the mall to Giselle.
Dak.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to turn Giselle Bundchen. I don't know how Tom turned away. Giselle said, Tom, it's football or me. Let me think for a minute. I got 7 rings. Fuck this shit. I'm out the door. And I got $365 million on a TV contract. Tom.
Yeah, but he didn't keep it.
Hold on. Tom, if you're listening, if you ever see this podcast, I want you to listen to me. Bubba, I don't know what's wrong with you. The elevator stopped at the 9th floor. I don't know if you got too many concussions or what, but with 7 rings and you're on the float and you're tossing a trophy from one float to the next float and they got to carry you to the parade, Bubba, you've hit the pinnacle. You've hit the pinnacle. And you got Giselle with that nice skimpy bikini just waiting in the bedroom.
That makes more money than you.
And you get $365 million on a TV deal. What more do you want in this life, you son of a bitch?
Hey Jay, I got family heading not your way because you don't live there right now, but heading to Houston to see the Astros play. To see the Astros play, and then they're going to be heading to see the Rangers play. They're taking a baseball.
Well, I'll tell you what,
they're going to see.
Like I already told Gonzo, the house will be built as of March of 2024. That's the completion date. If your family makes it there anytime after March of 2024, they will always have a bedroom and a nice shower and a hot meal at the ready.
They're going to be there April 2023. So it's a year early.
Well, tell them to bring their asses back.
Who's going to that?
And if they come back.
That's what I figured. I figured it was my training.
Well, you and Gonzo already coming to the house anyway. You got to help me set up my studio, so don't even worry about that, Tony. You're gonna be well taken care of. But no, hey, that's awesome. Hey, they're gonna have a good time out there in Houston and Dallas. They're gonna have good weather, good baseball games. They'll have a good time. They'll have a good time. Absolutely. And if they don't, I'll take them down to Matamoros.
John says, I don't see Seattle moving up this year. I can see next year Geno Smith to sign for another 3 years at $105 million.
John, I know you don't see it. And it's okay because you probably don't have your glasses on.
He said, personally, I don't like the idea of trading up for a QB, says Nate.
I don't know, man. Hey, how many QBs do you think are out there? Do you think QBs grow off the tree? They don't grow off a tree, Nate. Talking about Houston, Jay, laugh out loud. They're actually trying to play ball now. Ha ha, 2 wins in a row. Spurs might have the worst record this year. You know what, John? I don't fucking like you no more.
Jay.
John, you know, no. We want because John be over there trying to mess with me. John, Mickey Delaney,
Nate. Attack. Is anybody on there? He's in that.
I don't think he's attacked Nate yet.
Yeah, kind of. A little bit.
No, I used to attack Nate, and then Jay Ness got mad, saying, listen, we cut Nate slack, and you need to cut Nate slack. And so ever since Jay gave me a reprimand, I don't mess with Nate. Nate's like off limits.
Off limits. Son of a bitch.
No, I love Nate. Nate knows I love him. Report from Chicago Bears are looking to add Carson Wentz as a backup for Fields. Jesus.
Well, I know what's his name would love that.
I don't think so. Dustin, I still think, and I don't think that door is closed when Carson Wentz goes with Frank Reich, and I think he signs a moderate deal with Carolina. I still think Carolina takes a quarterback in the draft, but I think that Frank Reich would bring in Wentz on a very cap-friendly deal, work with Wentz while they get the next guy up and running.
I think it's
Wait, what? Is that true?
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
John Suggs, you must be messing with me. Yeah, because I ain't seen nothing like him going to the XFL. And why would you go to the XFL? Why would you give up in the NFL? Your time in the NFL is not done yet. You still got options. It would make no sense for him to sign with an XFL team.
I didn't see anything about that.
I figured probably end up in Carolina. There have been reports that Phillip Rivers might come out of retirement and that Tom Brady might come out of retirement, and they're wanting to go.
Nah, I don't know what Phillip Rivers is going to do. I can't speak on him, but I really honestly believe that
that's probably what the fucking
Tom.
That's probably what the Colts are going to do. That's probably what the Colts are going to do because Phillip Rivers loves that stike, and they're probably going to bring fucking Rivers back as quarterback for another fucking year.
Again, with the Rivers situation, possibly. I mean, I'm not gonna.
I hope they don't. But it wouldn't surprise me if the fucking Colts don't try something like that. Just come back.
But I do think with the whole Brady thing,
you do that shit, I'm gonna be pissed.
I just think I definitely don't think Brady's ever coming back. I truly believe that man is done. I think when he came out on that, I don't know if it was Instagram or TikTok, but when he came out there on social media and said, "Yo, I know I said this before, but I really am done." I think he's done. I think he knows that he's not going to keep doing that number. So. Matt Eberflus was with Wentz in Indy. I mean, that's fine if he was with him when he was with him in Indy, but do you think Carson Wentz is really ready to go to a backup role in, of all places, Chicago? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I'm not saying he doesn't go to Chicago, Dustin. That may be where he winds up, but you can't tell me that Wentz isn't first trying to get a starting job over there with Carolina before he takes a backup job with the Bears. I'm just saying. I mean, that just makes financial sense that he would want a starting job with Carolina, which has no true quarterback right now, before he takes a backup job and relegates him to that with the Bears. If nothing else, the competitiveness of him should want that. What a time to be alive. Man, why y'all talking about why everybody picking on the Rockets lately, man? Everybody knows that team's horrible. Jesus.
Dustin said that Johnny Manziel signed with the San Antonio Brahmas. I hadn't heard that either.
Hell, how old is Manziel now? I mean, hey, if he did, that's fine. I just don't believe Johnny Manziel has any serious intentions about football. I think he has come out before and said that he's just playing football to play football, not necessarily to try to get back his way in the NFL. But I don't know, man. That's crazy. I wonder how much they must have got him super cheap.
John Suggs says, watch Jets sign Wentz.
Yeah, that would be Johnny. I gotta find out this guy's age because I know Johnny's gotta be. Let's see, when did Johnny come out? What draft? Do we remember what year that was? He came out in 30. He's 30 years old, so he can still play football. I mean, hell, Geno Smith is 32, so. I mean, could Manziel somehow another finagle his way back in? I mean, who knows? Who knows? He's only 30, so he's still got a little bit of. It won't be as a starter. Maybe he finds his way back in as a backup or something. But God, I don't think the Jets are going to go for Wentz. I don't think they know that Wentz would just be like signing another backup quarterback, and they've already got plenty of backup quarterbacks and White and Wilson, and that's just one more backup quarterback to clog up a position of need. So I don't think they make any move at all on Wentz whatsoever. If anything, I think they purge themselves of Wilson. But for some reason, and Gonzo, I don't know, and Tony, I don't know how you think about this, but I'm not completely sold that the Jets have given up on Wilson. That's what they're thinking. I think the Jets still think they can turn Wilson around. And I think Wilson's about as burnt as a pizza I made 10 minutes ago on the first time trying the oven. Jets shouldn't, but wouldn't make sense. It would be a Jets. I agree. John Suggs, I agree with you. It is a Jets kind of thing to do, but that was before Salah got to that team and Hackett got to that team and so forth. So I don't think this is the same regime that would have done what the Jets have done previously. So that's why I don't give them that credit anymore. This is a different team. If you haven't noticed, this Jets team is making a comeback. They're not the same shitty team like they used to be. They are making better decisions, especially with their personnel groups. So if this had been any other team, I would agree with you, or any other Jets team, excuse me, other than Rex Ryan Jets group, I would agree with you. What a time.
All right.
Man.
Well, let's get to final thoughts for tonight.
Oh, you're not ready for that. No, I'm teasing. It's interesting. I saw on Bleacher Report a few minutes ago that the Grizzlies had a players-only meeting. Because Morant initially, before we get out of here tonight, I do want to kind of finish up with this. I know we kind of started talking about this at the beginning of the show, but I want to kind of end it a little bit with the show because there's still a couple of things that we really didn't quite touch on with the Grizzlies, and that is, number one, the Grizzlies have come out and given him a 2-game suspension. Jenkins also said that, hey, AJ, I know it wasn't because of Bert and Ernie you're saying that, so I appreciate it. That was a good show tonight. Thank you.
Take a drink.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Listen, if I'm not pissing off my co-host, I'm not doing my job. Okay?
Are you Oscar?
I've always wanted to be more of the Count Dracula type. I just love when Count Dracula comes on there.
Yeah, but with all the fur
or anything. Oh no, okay. If anything, I want to be Snuffleupagus.
Yeah,
you can call me
Snuffleupagus would be good.
You can call me Snuffleupagus, and I'll take that with a badge of honor.
Okay, I think Snuffleupagus is better than Count because you have to either be Oscar or Snuffleupagus.
All right, but if I'm gonna be Snuffleupagus, then you're gonna have to address me as Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Okay, then what's Frankie?
Frankie, man, Jesus. I don't know. I'm gonna need some time to think about that. I'd like to call him Mr. Jalapeno, but
Mr. Jalapeno.
I don't know, man. You know what? We might just give him the grouch. I think Frankie is kind of a grouchy type person. So we may give Frankie, he may be the grouch. I think we have discovered that already. So I hate to say it because I love the guy, but I think John Morant, I don't think he's done per se. But Dustin, I will say this: if he doesn't right his ship and if he doesn't get his life in order, he is going to be done. So he's at a precipice. I love that word precipice. I can't spell it, but I know what it means and I know how to use it in a sentence. Precipice. He's at a precipice right now where he's either going to go left or he's going to go right. And right now he's going all the way freaking left. We need him to go right. So we'll see which way he goes. If he follows his dad's sense of direction, I think he's done. But real quick, you guys, John Morant was given a 2-game suspension by the Memphis. The coach Jenkins has come out and said that it could be a longer suspension. They don't know. I think that's probably what they're discussing right now in this players-only meeting. But you got to remember, Colorado is still investigating this, number one. And number two, the NBA, Silver has not levied his part of it yet. So this whole thing with John Morant right now, it's all up topsy-turvy. Nobody knows how long this guy is going to be out. Nobody knows what his future looks like. But I will say this. I would love to be a fly on the wall at that Memphis locker room in that players-only meeting to see what they're discussing and how they're looking at it. I would love to be in that meeting. You guys?
Well, they said they were going to suspend him for 2 days, and then they came out and say he's going to be out indefinitely.
Yeah, I seen that too.
He's taking a break from the team and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how long he's actually away from the team, especially when this is where you're trying to make your playoff push and hold position here last 12, 13 games of the season. So
right.
I've been seeing. I just read a thing. Jalen Rose said he used to be him, and he did all that stuff, and Morant will come back from this and be better than ever and do the right thing, and he might, but he might not. I mean, Jalen Rose may have did all that stuff, and he may have came back from it and did great, and because he did. That don't mean that, I'm not saying Morant's not. I'm not trying to come down on him. I'm just saying not everybody straightens up and comes back. They just don't. Some people are just idiots. I'm not saying he is, but who knows?
Yeah. And let's be honest. I think John Suggs said, if AI can come back, Morant can come back. What AI did back in the day was very, very minuscule as compared to what Morant's doing. I'm sorry. Anytime you put a weapon, not one time, but multiple times in the public eye, and your hand is on the weapon, that's a little bit difficult to come back from. That's a little difficult because let's be honest, the only thing that's saving his ass right now is that he hasn't had the gumption to pull the trigger. That's the only damn difference right now. The problem with Morant is he has the wrong people around him, from his father to his friends. Everybody around in his inner circle is rotten to the core. Rotten to the core. And until Morant can look his people in the eye and say, you know what? You are not right for me. You are not helping me be a successful athlete, human being, and businessman where I need to go. You are not right for me. And until he can say that to these people and get them out of his inner circle, he is doomed for destruction. He is. Because you all know peer pressure is a motherfucker. And when you got it from your dad to your friends, how are you going to overcome that? Unless you had a gumption or unless somebody gets in John Morant's ear and can convince him, Ja, as long as you keep this inner circle around you, you're not going to be in this game long enough.
Dustin says the problem is that several Grizzly players don't want him back.
They probably don't. Yeah, they probably don't want him back.
Well, like I said, he could be a cancer. We don't know. We don't know what goes on. So I would say that there's issues in the locker room. If it's just about the gun, I don't think that would be the only thing. Do you? There have to be other issues.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I think the gun.
Well, yeah, I remember just had an incident with a 17-year-old.
Yeah,
it's been last 2 or 3 weeks. Well, actually, a couple months because he had the incident with the Indiana Pacers.
Right.
Pointing a laser at the bus, and they believed it was a gun.
Well, like you said, he's on a path of destruction.
Well, yeah, as long as he keeps that inner circle around him, I don't see him changing. He's got to change his inner circle in order for him to be productive in the game of basketball. And until he can do that, yeah, he's going to go down the path he's going down.
Actually, Jay, in the game of life.
Oh, all of it. Yeah, all of it. No, you're right. All of it. The only thing that saved Allen Iverson's ass is somebody talked to him and told him to put away $21 million into a bank account that he couldn't, or as a trust fund that he couldn't touch until X amount of years. And that's the only thing that I think truly saved him from being, back on the streets, because he had blown through all of his money. All of his money he blew through. But he had that trust fund back in the day that somebody gave him a nugget of sense that he invested in a trust fund that he couldn't touch until they hit a certain time frame. And if it hadn't been for that, I think, he'd be back on the streets somewhere. Because how else would he have made his income? Because he blew through all of his NBA earnings. He blew through all of his endorsements. So what did he have left? I'm sure they have been vocal.
So he's a me guy, not a team guy. And you get guys like that.
Yeah. Well, think about it, though. If you really think about it, everything has been about Ja, hasn't it? I mean, everything, right? Instagram posts, hanging out at his house with 17-year-olds. I mean, everything about Ja has. I mean, he demonstrates it off the court that it's all about him, right?
He's probably 21, 22.
Who, Ja Morant? No, he's older than that. He's more like around the 24, 25. He's been in the league for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
How long?
Plus the college time. I put him at about 23, 24. So I think he's around the Luka Doncic age.
He's 23.
Yeah, 23, 24. Yeah. He's got a long career ahead of him. He just, God forbid, Jesus Christ, Ja, get your shit. He's just got to get his group. He's got to get that core group of people that's around him. He's got to get away from that. If he can get away from that, then Ja Morant can probably go on and do better things. He just has to get the right group of people around him. That's the one thing that LeBron really, really had around him, was because LeBron came from nothing. We all know LeBron came from Akron, Ohio. He didn't come from much. He was in a single parent household, and he made himself who he is. He obviously had natural ability, but he had a good, strong group of people around him, from his mother to Dallas Maverick. I mean, he had people around him that kept him focused on the game of life as well as the game of basketball, and also business as well. And that's why LeBron has come from nothing into something. And Ja Morant can do the same thing if he just learns to follow in LeBron's path of the way he did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I agree. Do you have anything?
Yeah, my final thought was I just wanted to plug the big show we got coming up March 25th here, DCCW 5th anniversary show. Also the night before, the 24th, they have their Hall of Fame ceremony.
Indiana Pro Wrestling
Hall of Fame on the 24th. And then on the 25th, they got a big their 5th anniversary show. So you can go to their webpage and get all the information. I just want to plug that. And excited for WrestleMania, man.
Yeah, me too. That's next month, right? WrestleMania is at the end of next month, right?
April
1st.
April 1st.
Oh, snap. Oh, we get at the beginning of April.
Yes.
Oh, shit. It doesn't surprise me, because I'm pretty sure, Dustin, that the same group of friends he had when he was in D1 college is the same friends he's hanging out in the NBA. And so, again, when you got a network of people around you that aren't good for you, so the time you were in college, hell, it goes back to his dad. When you got people like his dad and those group of friends, of course, I have no doubt it goes back to D1.
John, I didn't see the Derek Brunson fight. I think that was why we was watching the college wrestling before we switched it over to UFC on Saturday night. So I didn't watch UFC.
Wow, I didn't see the Derek Brunson fight.
I didn't watch UFC till the main card.
Yep.
Because I was watching the Big Ten championships. Because, excuse me, I say kid, but a young man we used to coach.
We got to start wrestling with us.
When he was a kid, he started wrestling with us. He won Big Ten championship Sunday, but we watched him in the semifinals Saturday night. Yeah, and then on Sunday in the finals, he beat defending national champion
Yep.
In the Big Ten championship on Sunday. So I watched that. So I didn't see the Derek Brunson fight. If you missed our wrestling show that we live streamed yesterday on our YouTube channel,
It was good.
Summit Pro Retribution, go check it out. You can find it YouTube, Twitch, Twitter at Gonzo's Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network. It was a real good show. So go check that out. Like I said earlier, we'll have Glenn Richardson's going to be on with us on Wednesday at 6:30. We'll be back Wednesday night at 11 for another episode of G.S.R. Gonzo's Sports Room. Let you guys know when our next wrestling show is. So we're working on that, and then next Wednesday we have a big interview with Tommy Gage.
Yeah.
On the 15th. So that should be a good one.
Yeah, so Dustin says, can I give a shout out to Grayson Clark? Yeah. What's up?
Sure. Who's Grayson Clark?
I don't know who Grayson Clark is, but okay, well, I guess I'll have to Google that. It doesn't go with his crazy names. I'm assuming since he's in baseball camp, that must be somebody out there in the baseball world, but I'm about to go Google that one. He said Clark became the fourth ever four-time state champion at 135 or 138 pounds and finished his career at 116-1. Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Shit.
I'm taking that. Is that in Wisconsin?
That's wrestling. Yeah. Oh yeah, all that stuff's Wisconsin. Well, good for him. 116-1 is.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Real impressive.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. We're
real quick.
We're big amateur wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Oh, we are. I grew up.
Yeah. Well, you guys grew up. Gonzo, didn't you? You wrestled, didn't you?
Yes, he did.
I think you wrestled what in the 5'8" and under.
So,
I tease him only because I live several states away, so he can't kick my ass. But it is what it is. Hey, listen. Hey, before we get out of here, I just want to say tomorrow night on Unscripted, man, we're gonna be talking about the most disappointing NBA stars this season. Obviously, the next Purdy that I think is in this draft, and we'll be talking about obviously more about the Daniel Jones contract situation, as well as who we think possibly John Jones could fight next as the new defending UFC heavyweight champ. So we'll be talking more about that.
We already know who he's fighting next.
Oh, have they announced it?
Well, they haven't set the date, but they said that night he's going to fight. You want me to tell you who he's fighting?
Yeah,
Miocic, Stipe.
Yeah, that was one of the guys I had possibly him fighting next. That's interesting. Okay, we'll still talk more about John Jones and get into that a little bit.
They say they're going to do it in July. We'll see if it happens, but that's what they're saying, that they're going to fight in July.
So Stipe is gonna be his next guy, huh?
Jay, give me a tease. Who's one of your most disappointed NBA players this year?
No, not gonna do it.
Just one.
Okay, fuck, man, son of a bitch. You sound like my wife. Give me 1 inch. Don't give me the full. Don't give me the whole 10. Just give me 1 inch. Okay.
Years. Just one of those. Let
me see.
Bozo.
He's a good guy. What's his name?
Logan.
Sorry, Logan.
Was that Logan? Oh, Jesus. Fuck, I think the gummy bear just hit me. What were you saying again?
Just hit me.
You said a teaser for what now?
Just what are your most disappointing?
Oh, yeah. We were talking about the NBA star. All right. Okay.
Just one of yours. You got one, Chris?
I'm gonna give you. All right. I'm not gonna give you all of them, but number 5. Damn, you son of a bitch. Wait for it, son. Wait for it. Shit. Damn, I bet the first time you had sex, you probably ejaculated before you got to the bed. See where you got me going in the conversation? Damn. All right. I'm gonna give you number 5. Number 5, Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors. I got at number 5 for being one of the most I got 5 altogether. I'm just naming now. I got 5 most disappointing stars, and at number 5, actually, I misspoke. I gave you number 4. Number 4 is Fred Van. I didn't give you 5. Fred Van Fleet, though, I got it as the number 4 guy that's most disappointing this season.
So how many am I supposed to have for unscripted?
As many as you want.
Okay.
As many as you want.
So that means I can have 0.
Oh shit!
You got to know when to hold them. Know
Verse
when to walk away. John Suggs says James Wiseman, Lonzo. You can't put Lonzo Ball in there for the crying out loud. The damn dude's injured. Is 2 that should be on the list. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from, John Suggs. And you're not wrong, though those guys could be on the list, but they haven't really had NBA, quote unquote, NBA careers long enough. And they're not, quote unquote, star. Wiseman's not a star. I hate to tell you. Lonzo Ball, I mean, by default, because he's injured, if you want to put him on that list. I got 5 for a completely different reason. But I do like where you're starting at that, John Suggs. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday. You'll get my answer.
Can I give you my number 1?
Sure.
Zion.
But what's your reason?
He ain't never going to play.
So,
I'll get rid of
so
that.
again, okay. So again, I get what I get where you're going with that. I get where you're going. Zion, because of injury, he's the same issue as Lonzo Ball, right? Both of them got injuries. Both of them can't stay on the court. We all know that. What I'm talking about is when I say NBA stars, not that Zion's not a star, right? He is. But I mean, like stars that have been playing for at least 5 to 6 consecutive seasons without injuries, ones that actually are on the court, playing the game, doing their thing. We all know, look, it's not to say Zion, that's kind of like Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I agree.
Can
I clarify why I said it though? Because
as long as you can let me say the one thing first, and then you clarify.
Okay.
I want you, Tony, when you're in your most intimate moments at night, and you're thinking to yourself, and you're meditating, and you're looking in the bathroom mirror as maybe you're brushing your teeth, maybe you're gargling your mouthwash, whatever it is, you need for sanitary reasons. And you're thinking to yourself, and you give that personal truth. I want you to say to yourself, Tony, you can do better. You can dig deeper. You can give. Hold on. See, hold on. You can be better. You can dig deeper. You can give more meaningful answers. Because I know that this version of Tony is not the best version of Tony that we're getting tonight.
No, he showed up when he got drafted. He showed up fat, lazy, and not in shape, and he's been worthless since. That's my opinion.
I will say this, John, you are getting very good at this now. At first you were throwing darts at the wall and you were hitting the drywall instead of the board. Now you're actually on the board, John Suggs. You are on the board. Dustin, you are also on the board. How crazy is
wait. Since Simmons had a broken back for 2 years.
Hey. Personal truth. In the bathroom. By yourself.
See, you're kissing Dustin's ass when he says Simmons. He had a broken back for 2 years.
Kissing his ass, but he's in the radar.
No, he didn't play for 2. Zion ain't played for 2 years because he came in fat and.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. How long has Simmons? Oh, okay. Lord, give me the strength. I'll tell you what, Tony. I'll make a deal with you. Tony. If you will tune in, because I'm not going to give you all the nuggets of my information. I didn't spend all day in this book for you to get all my nuggets of information. You got to work for this shit, okay?
Okay.
What I want you to do is I want you to tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Your son Gonzo will be there.
Yep.
You can even sit next to him if you'd like. And I
No
want you to tune in, and I'm going to tell you specifically why Simmons is on that list. And I'm not going to tell you where he's on the list, but I'm going to specifically tell you why he's on that list.
Okay.
You know I love you, right? Tony, you are. I swear to God, I never tell you this very often, and I really mean this from the heart. I do. I love you, man. I really appreciate you. I really, honestly respect and appreciate you, brother. Not because you produced Gonzo. That was probably, one of those late night in a freight train moment. But, nonetheless.
Freight train.
You're a freight train in nowhere?
Yeah, freight train in nowhere. That's for sure.
Hey, but nonetheless, if I ever have leaky plumbing, I'm calling Gonzo.
Freight train in nowhere.
Oh, shit. All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
I'm out. I'm done.
Alex Caruso's another one. But thanks for joining us. We'll be back Wednesday night at 11 for another episode of G.S.R. Gonzo'S Sports Room. Join us tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern for Around the Bases. Myself and Stat Guy will be doing that in the morning.
I'll be there to you. If I don't get my invite, I'm coming looking for you.
I was getting ready to say, Jay, if you want to come on.
What time's the game?
I'll be on.
I'm not sure.
Tomorrow or Wednesday?
I think it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Yeah, but when's the game start?
World Baseball Classic.
But I don't know. I gotta go. That's actually what I was getting ready to pull up here in a minute. I was gonna look at that my damn self.
Yeah, I'm not sure what time the game starts. To look.
I'm gonna try to watch some of it.
But we'll be live 9 a.m. for baseball, 1 Eastern for the ASAP Afternoon Blitz, 3 o'clock for Easy Money Sports Betting Show, which my picks today done real well. And then Unscripted at 7 Eastern tomorrow. We don't have nothing late night tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll be back for GSR. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo's Sports Room. Tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. Oh, that's when the games start. Okay. I guess the game starts tomorrow night at 10.
Yeah, I'll be at work, so I can't watch it. Damn
Good God, man, these fuckers are playing late as hell. All right, man. I'll probably stay up for it.
Oh, yeah. I'll try to watch some of it. I'll probably stay up for it. I have trouble sleeping anyway.
I'll probably,
But hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo's Sports Room, at the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network, and at Unscripted. Follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all Gonzo's Sports Room. That's where I post everything about all of our shows. We appreciate everybody joining us. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Damn.